The Locked On NFL Draft, all offensive and defensive teams. Who is going to make our list? We're going to talk about this and more coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson, always on the ones and twos. You can find and follow me on X at DP_NFL. I'm a national scout and a senior draft analyst. And thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being out every day. And you know, I got to kick this intro to my guy, Mr. LSU himself, Keith Sanchez. You can find and follow him on X at TheTalentCode. Keep talking to him, baby.
What's up, Locked On family? Let's get locked in. This is Keith Sanchez, 2019 national champ with those LSU Tigers, man. And the other side to this dynamic duo that we like to call the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, where we are your number one source for everything NFL draft content. I want to say shout out to every day. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. Go ahead, hit that like button. Don't forget to comment after each segment and hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel with the best NFL draft content. DP. It is draft eve, man. It's not even just draft week. It is draft eve. We are right there. The draft is right around the corner. It is tomorrow, so I'm so excited about this. So you say, you know what we're going to do is, instead of just doing the classic stuff, man, we're going to have some fun, right? We're going to have some fun with this content. We're going to roll out our all-offensive team. We're going to roll out our all-defensive team, and then we're going to go together with some perfect fits, man. So this will be a fun show, an action-packed show. But DP, before we get started, man, why don't you hit them with our title sponsor?
Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side, and it is a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. Guys, let's lay out the table, right? All offensive team. Quarterback, go one quarterback, one running back, two wide receivers, a tight end, and then we're going to talk offensive line. For the offense, right? Defense, kind of similar thing. Two corners, two safeties, whatever. Number one quarterback, Keith, I think we can we can clearly agree. That's Caleb Williams. If we're picking our quarterback to lead our team, it's C-Dub, right? It's Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. I'm going with Caleb also.
Now, Keith, we get into the what's that? Two running backs or one running back, right? Out of this class, and this is a good running back class. It's not it's not last year, so it doesn't have the blue chip prospect.
That's why we appreciate running backs when we get them, because every class. I just had to throw that out there, DP. I'm sorry, I had to get that out there.
My guy said, I got to tell y'all why you should have appreciated Gibbs and Bijan last year. Listen, I you know me, I love it. Those are my guys. But for me, Keith, the running back I would want on our all offensive team, and you tell me if you agree, and then we had to discuss it if you disagree. I want that. This is actually tougher than I thought it was going to be. Let me get Trey Benson. I want Trey Benson with the size, the strength, the speed, but also the pass catching ability, pass protection ability. I want him for a 4-year, 4 to 5 year rookie contract, because I think giving him the full carries allow us to really see that full development with him, where Florida State made them split carries.
Yeah, I agree with that. I want to ask you, who's the running back you almost said, though? Because it looked like you kind of hesitated. Who did you?
So I almost went. It was two names popped in my mind with Trey. It was, of course, Blake Corum, right? Probably the best, most natural runner in this entire class, right? Yep. Most natural runner. And then I love Tennessee's Jaylen Wright. I love this kid, man. Like that speed, that downhill ability. He can work in the zone, work in gap. He's patient. And, I think he's solid catching the football. That's a home run hitter, Keith. And, you know what I mean? I just like, man, listen, that's one of those guys. He's one of them ones, like, you don't want to let him free, man. But I was like, you know what? I think the full game, I'd rather give it to Benson. Either Benson or Corum. It's between those two mostly.
Yeah, I'm on track for Benson just because of the explosive speed, but I do like Corum. Okay, let's get to these wide receivers, right? We did one quarterback, one running back. We have what, two? Is it two wide receivers? Two wide receivers. I'm gonna go ahead and let you list who are your two guys and see if we agree on this all offensive wide receiver situation.
Man, of course, Marvin Harrison Jr. He's my ex. but I like to build my team to complement one another. Let me get Malik Neighbors as my Z, and let me give y'all hell. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna be able to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I thought Rome. I have Rome and Neighbors
I thought you
graded very
might have
close.
curveball and went wrong. I thought you would have said, you know what, give me the bigger body, smooth route run. I thought you were gonna go wrong.
But you remember the slogan, gotta build it like a basketball team. I got my power forward, my slash wing. I got my Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Man, let me get the Dwayne Wade, Russell Westbrook slashing guard and Malik Neighbors. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? And we already know we're gonna get the tight end in a second, baby. Like we building out a powerhouse over here, Keith. So let me get Marv and let me get Neighbors.
Okay, no, I'm right there with you. So we in line with that. I think this is why I know stuff is gonna get interesting. So the wide receivers, I'm right there with you. Of course, I'm gonna go Malik Neighbors. I have to go the LSU Louisiana with himself, right? So I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr. and I'm going Malik Neighbors. Then tight end. Can we? I want to say can we agree, but I think you agree, but we might have.
It's chalk. It's
Oh,
chalk, Keith.
all right, I'm just making sure. I know Brock
There's
Bowers.
no shot.
Okay, so Brock Bowers. This is where it's gonna get interesting though. The offensive line. We're gonna go left tackle, left guard, center, guard, tackle, and we got a couple minutes before we have to transition. So my left tackle, I'm going with
Mhm,
Joe Alt. I'm going with Joe
mhm,
Alt at left tackle. Left guard, I'm going to go with Troy Fontanu.
mm.
Center, I'm going to go Jackson Powers Johnson. Right guard, I'm going to go with Christian Haynes. And then right tackle, I'm going to go JC Latham.
Okay. So left tackle for me is going to be Olu Fashanu. Left guard that one's tough, but I'm probably gonna kick Troy. No, no, I'm actually gonna go with at left guard. I'm gonna go Graham Barton at left guard.
Left.
I'm gonna go with so I'm gonna go Olu. We'll put Graham Barton at guard. I'm gonna go with JPJ at center. I'm gonna go at right guard. Let me get Christian Haynes. I'm gonna go Christian Haynes at right guard as well. Right tackle. I can't shake him, Keith. That's one of my guys. I'm gonna go with Marius Mims at right tackle. I'm gonna go. I can't shake him, Keith. This is one of my favorite prospects. I'll coach up the run. I'll make sure we got a coach to get the run footwork going. You
He's
know what I mean?
You're not shaking him. He's way too big to shake. You're not that 6'7", not shaking that big old boy.
No, we're not shaking him. So we got Caleb, we got Benson, Malik, Marv, Brock. The main split was left
Joe Odom.
tackle,
Yep.
left guard, and right tackle. If I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the main splits. I'm disappointed in myself that I left off Graham Barton because I like him a whole lot. But I'm look at it too. If I had to replace somebody, and this sounds messed up, right? If I had to swap it out, it would probably be Christian Haynes and Graham Barton
Mm.
at the position. But I do like that combination of Troy Fontanu playing the left guard, and then I gotta put in Jackson Powers Johnson. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. And I thought about right tackle because there's a lot of different ways you can go with that. You know, I'm a big Kingsley Sumatia guy.
Mhm.
But these Fuaga DP didn't make the list for either one of us. I just thought about that. He didn't
I
make the list.
almost flipped him the guard, Keith. I almost flipped him the guard, but I was like, nah. I'm gonna stick with the guards that play the position full time. I'll leave my guy right tackle. It was between Talise, JC, and Mims, and I just can't shake Mims.
Yep, it's tough, man. And that's just how deep this offensive tackle class. I think we can roll out a whole nother depth chart, right? Not using any of the names we just used and have a starting five that look really good. But DP, let's keep going, man. We did the offensive side, but you know what we about to do, man. We got to get into the defensive side, my favorite side of the football, defensive guys. So coming up next, man, we about to get into the all defensive team for the 2024 NFL draft class.
passion, drive, and patience. The formula of winning championships is also what keeps your number one ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your number one ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Keep your number one ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. For our all defensive team, Keith, I'm assuming that we're running an even front defensive line, 4 down linemen. You know what I mean? You confirm or deny here. You know what I mean?
I'm confirming DP. I'm a 4 down type of guy.
All right. Let's go. Let's go. So for me, at edge 1, I gotta go with Leatu Latu at my one edge. I'm gonna go with Michael Hall Jr. at one defensive tackle. I'm gonna go Byron. That's tough. I'm gonna go Byron Murphy at the second defensive tackle spot since we run the 4-man front. I'm gonna go with Jared Verse as the other edge in this situation to round out that 4-man defensive line.
Okay, we agree on the edge rushers. So my I listed off the same way you did. You did Leatu Latu, right? I agree with that. That's on one edge. The defensive tackle position, I gotta go with my boy Jerzon Newton. I have to put Jerzon Newton in there. I'm gonna go with him as a defensive tackle. And then the second guy for me, DP, this was tough because those interior defense, there's a couple guys I like. I like Braden, I like Justin Boygby. Oh man, this was tough. And then I'm a Byron Murphy guy also, but for a complimentary piece, right? I'm talking about the all defensive team. I'm going to go. Oh, this is tough. And Ruka is out there. I'm gonna go Byron Murphy. I'm gonna leave it at Byron Murphy. And you know what? I'm switching it up. Braden Fisk. I'm putting Braden Fisk in there, saying it with my chest, DP. It is draft. I'm saying it with my chest, and then I'm gonna wrap up the other edge side with Jared Verse. Popular name that's left off from that group would be Dallas Turner. And I think consistently we both agree we do believe the upside is there, but it's more about the consistency is for us as far as earning this all defensive team, but then also when it applies to the draft and what we're going to get as far as consistency. Linebacker position, DP, who you have, and we'll do this. We'll go 2 linebackers and we'll go a nickel, right? Pure nickel. So 2 linebackers.
The 2 guys we talked about yesterday, Peyton Wilson and Edgerrin Cooper. I thought about Junior Colson. I just feel like there's some processing speed issues with him, like seeing it. I think when he sees it, he goes. He's athletic. He gets to the spot, all that good stuff. But I feel like he doesn't see it as quickly as those 2 guys, but he still has a really good see. He's another guy that could be an impact player. I think he's more of a middle linebacker. So I went with Edgerrin Cooper and Peyton Wilson.
Okay, I'm going the same exact 2, Edgerrin Cooper, Peyton Wilson. So we kind of chalk on that situation. Nickel. This is a fun nickel class, DP. This is because you can really get in your bag on this nickel situation. And there's a lot of hybrid. So when I say nickel, you have to think of safeties too, right? Because there's a lot of guys that walk down and play in the box too and kind of fit that nickel mode safety position. So who you going with the nickel position?
This was a very difficult decision, Keith. Because this is a loaded nickel group. I got to go to Michigan, man. My guy Mike Sanderstill, dog. Like coverage ability, ball skills, physicality, run defense, blitzing. Mike Hilton has played for the Bengals and the Steelers, and he's been one of the most impactful nickel defenders and slot defenders in the game because he does all the same things. And I think Mike Sanderstill, to me, he's a second-round pick. You know what I mean? I love this kid's game, so I got to go for my nickel, Mike Sanderstill out of Michigan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Mike Sanderstill too. And I also, who else he reminds me of? Cam Taylor-Britt. I get Cam Taylor-Britt out of him, just scrappy, tough, natural instincts for playing. Like when I was watching him, and we were high on Cam Taylor. This is way before we did the podcast. But Cam, I think initially he's like a fourth, fifth round guy, right? And I'm watching, I'm like, nah, this dude could ball, right? Like he's not that big, but he can flat out ball. And I get the same type of vibes with Mike Sarenstill. So I'm going Sarenstill at the nickel position. DP, how you want to roll this? You want to list off the two corners, or you want to go corner, safety, corner to round out the secondary?
Let's list off the two corners. For me, Keith, I'm gonna go with Quinyon Mitchell at one corner spot, and then I'm gonna go with. This is tough because I'm battling with the Alabama boys here. Let me go with. I'm gonna go with Kool-Aid. I'm gonna go Quinyon Mitchell, and then I'm gonna go Kool-Aid McKinstry here. I got the best of both worlds, guys. That I think Quinyon has a really high ceiling as he's developing his man coverage, press man skill set, because he played a lot of quarters in cover 4. But I feel with these two type of corners, I can mix and match coverages. I can throw man on one side, show you man drop off in the zone on the other. I can run some cover 6. I can run cover 4. I could do different things. I'm about to get in the head of your quarterback, and I got two guys that are going to be in the hip pocket of your receiver. So let me go Quinyon Mitchell at one outside, and then on the opposite outside, let me get Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go Kool-Aid McKinstry's in mine, and I'm gonna go Terrion Arnold. I'm a bet on that consistency and development that's there. So I'm going to Bama corners, and obviously they played together at college, right, for multiple years. I think plug and play both of these guys, and I like them because they can do some of the same things, but they're also different, right? Like the details of their game is different, so they can provide some different things. Then I'll even say this, DP. I like Terrion Arnold, and listen, if I'm the D coordinator, I might roll Terrion into the nickel from time to time. Let him play some of that nickel, be a hybrid, kind of corner defender, and then let Kool-Aid obviously always be in press man situations. DP, the safeties. This is about to get interesting. The safety class, and we have how we built this thing, right? You have to understand that you have Mike Sarenstill at the nickel position. We both do. So what safeties are you going with?
In this situation, Keith, I'm gonna go with. Oh, that's really tough. I'm gonna go with Tyler Nubin at one safety, right? So for me, Tyler Nubin will probably be. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Tyler Nubin. I'm playing too high, so it don't really matter. With these corners, I'm playing. We playing too high. I don't have to, especially when we got Mike Sarenstill. I don't have to rotate. You don't got to go into the nickel unless I really need you to. I'm gonna go Tyler Nubin, and then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Jaden Hicks. So Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota, and then Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. There's only one safety that's more physical, that's as physical as Jaden Hicks, and that's Malik Mustafa from Wake Forest. So I'm gonna go Jaden Hicks and Tyler Nubin here.
Yeah, so that's interesting for me, DP, because I thought about Jaden Hicks, but I don't know if you feel this way. And is a slogan that we all use, right? Is that he's kind of been out of sight, out of mind for this draft process, right? Like I don't know what he looks like, right? Like that type of thing, right? Because we just haven't seen him much, man. Whether that's interviews, whether that's being talked about a lot, whether I don't think he didn't come to the Senior Bowl, right?
He had his pro day.
Yeah, and that was it, right? Like that was the one appearance for him. So as much as I'm thinking about it, I thought with the film I had some question marks, and then honestly, I can't say that I got those question marks answered, and both in a good or bad way, right? Like it wasn't bad and it wasn't good. So I'm gonna go with, if you ask me, my two safeties, DP, and this is a bit of a risk, right? Because it's gonna be a kind of smaller combination, but I'm gonna go Tyler Nubin at one. And then I'm going Javon Bullard at the other, man. Give me the ball hawk. Give me the guy that can go get the football. Now, the problem is this, right? You're probably going to be able to run the football on my team because I'm Javon Bullard and Mike Sarenstill, kind of smaller defensive backs, right? And I think about the versatility of both of those guys, talking about Tyler Nubin and Javon Bullard, right? At any point, I could roll one of them into the box and do some different things. So, if you go one running back and you go 4 wide receivers, right? You give me some 10 personnel. I think I have enough to cover all of those guys. And honestly, with the defensive team that I constructed, DP, we'll be able to shut down Patrick Mahomes.
Listen, that's the plan, right? Stop that man. Like we can't win if we can't stop that man. So that's how I want it as well, Keith. So We got all offensive and all defensive teams. By the way, I feel good about that, Keith. I think we competing for chips.
Yeah, no, this is fun. This is fun. It's a good exercise, and I feel like if we had the opportunity to draft these guys, this defense can be a really good defense, moving forward. And I think as much as we don't want the defensive prospects in the top 5 picks, in the top 10 picks, right? I don't have my number one corner ranked until like 18 or something like that, or 14, I believe. But I do think there's a lot of talent here, and you look at the corner position, we left off guys like, Nate Wiggins, which, we had the conversation yesterday about, some of the potential things that's there. But I really like what we was able to construct. We had a couple pieces that we didn't necessarily agree on. I don't say we disagreed on, right? But we had one guy ranked higher than the other with DP. Let's wrap this thing up, man, with our classic segment, Perfect Fix, right? What we do, we pick the NFL team. We pick the college prospect, man. When we say this situation needs to happen because it's mutual beneficial for both parties. So coming up next, Perfect Fits.
We've all been there, either as a player or fan. It's halftime. The scoreboard is not looking good. You're feeling low, not sure you or your team can pull out a win. That's when you dig deep, lift your head up, and say to yourself, time to get back in the game, pull off some bank heists, and take as much of my friend's money as I possibly can. That's right, the smash hit mobile game, Monopoly Go, lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone, anytime, with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do, like play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards. Make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball. You can even work with your friends to crack open community chests and in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face, and download Monopoly Go. Now free on the App Store or Google Play. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Perfect prospect fits. Keith, I got to go to the wide receiver position, and I'm going to go to one of our guys. I'm going to go to Keon Coleman. I would love for Keon Coleman to go to the Miami Dolphins and that Mike McDaniel kind of Kyle Shanahan-esque type of offense. You have so much speed on this offense, but you know what you lack? Physicality, power, size at the wide receiver position. And I think Keon Coleman, when you have Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and then you got Raheem Mostert, Devon A-Chain, and you got Tua, who's an accurate quarterback, a timing quarterback, a guy that can put it on the money, right? Put it right there where it's supposed to be, especially in rhythm with protection. I think getting a true X, right, where a guy that can fight through press coverage, a guy that can beat one-on-one coverage, a guy that can dominate the catch point, back shoulder fades, work the middle of the field. They run a lot of crossing patterns in Miami, man. You know what I'm saying? Mesh concept, crossers, different things like that. I think Keon Coleman would probably be the last piece in this receiving room that absolutely takes them to that next level, because you look at what Kansas City did to them, and I remember Tyreek Hill talked about it after the playoff game. He said, I know Coach Spags. But Coach Spags said, I know he probably told Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed, get at the line of scrimmage and press those fast guys, right? Well, that's going to be hard to do when the guy is 225 and he's 6'3", and he can throw you off of him and then wave that hand like, Tua, just throw it to me, right? And that gives Tua that big body option to where if you want, because you're going to get too high. You're going to get too high. And if you want to rotate coverage, that's fine too. You want to roll down to cover one, that's cool. I think Keon Coleman, his ability to play at the catch point, will give Tua Tagovailoa that weapon he needs to take himself to that next level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with it, DP. I'm with it, right? Just like you said, a different weapon stylistically, right? And I think that's very important, because don't they also want to kind of instill the physical part in Miami? You know what I'm saying? Like just that presence. And, for Keon, what my comp has been, right? And he had productive years in Miami. Brandon Marshall, right? Getting that physical big body. I can honestly, DP, I can just see it, right? I can see that happening, and it needs to be a thing. And they've thought of guys like Xavier Worthy and things like that. But to me, in my opinion, that's doubling down on what you do instead of becoming more well-rounded, right? And I like Xavier Worthy, and honestly, I think it would work, right? But once you get to that threshold of now teams punch you in the mouth, it's like, okay, how we switch it up, right? And you always use basketball analogies, right? But it's like, okay, cool. If people taking away the post game, now we got to be able to shoot, right? If they, if they switch and they start playing zone, we got to have the shooters, right? And if they get out of zone play, man, we have to have the guys that can win their one-on-one matchups and get to the hole, right? So I stole a little bit of your basketball analogies. I know you like to throw that in. I threw a little one in there. But I agree with you with switching it up and being a little bit versatile. Real quick, perfect fit for me, DP. I'm looking at TCU offensive tackle Brandon Coleman, and I'm looking at the Washington Commanders, right? Because he probably will be a day 2 pick, but this is a versatile guy. This is a guy that played tackle, but I think he has the potential to be a really good guard. And the reason why I say this is this. I don't know if they're going Drake May, DP. I don't know if they're going Jayden Daniels, right? It's so many smoke and mirrors. I stopped. The draft is tomorrow, right? I'll just wait till tomorrow to figure it out and let them tell me. But the reason I say that is that regardless of how it goes down, right, they still have to fix this offensive line. And so you look at all those day 2 prospects, and I can't remember exactly what draft picks they have, but I want to say it's a decent amount in the top 100.
They got 2 seconds. They got 2 seconds. I think a third.
5 in the top 102 or something like that. So after you get that quarterback, go double dip at the offensive, not even all, just offensive line, period, and improve this offensive line. They made some improvements during the offseason. I know they went and got the center from Dallas, Tyler Biadasz, I believe, but go ahead and get another versatile piece like a Brandon Coleman.
No, I love that. And Brandon Coleman is one of the more slept on, underrated offensive linemen in this loaded offensive line group, a guy that could play tackle and play guard. So Keith, I love that fit, because if you don't feel like, if you don't need him at tackle, he could play guard for you. And their guard spot has been a really tough spot for them over the past couple of years. It feels like, and they needed to improve the interior offensive line. I love that call out, Keith. Brandon Coleman to protecting either Jayden Daniels or Drake May. Sign me up for that.
Who knows, DP? Who knows? But DP, we do know the draft is tomorrow, man. And I want to say shout out to every day. Thank you for rocking with us this draft season. We know the draft is tomorrow, so y'all know where to tune into, man. We're going to have all our instant reactions. We're going to have our recaps. We're going to have the draft grades. Like, stay with us throughout this whole process, man. It's honestly, it's just getting started, right? Because this is the fun part for both of us, is when we get to throw out those draft grades and we get to grade the class. We get to tell you who's going to be successful. So we're definitely going to make a pivot in the content to adjust to what's going on. But listen, man, I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we always like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. On tomorrow's episode, we are dropping right in the morning before the draft bold predictions. We're going to just kind of throw out some bold predictions that we have for night 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.